Again, my name is Lisa Quam, and I hope you laugh. And if you do, please follow me at Quamedy on Facebook or TikTok. So I celebrated a really big birthday last year. I turned 50, and a lot of what you've heard about aging is true. Things do just kind of start to fall apart. But there are a couple of things that have surprised me about getting older. For instance, I can no longer jump, which seems like a weird skill to lose. I just realized a couple weeks ago, I don't know why I tried to jump, but anyway, I can no longer do that. Also, gravity affects every part of your body, even the parts that you cannot see. And what nobody talks about is things that happen kind of in this area of your body. If I happen to be walking around at home with nothing on my bottom half, I look like a lopsided basset hound. I've got about 8 inches on the right and 12 on the left. That is a true story. There are some upsides to aging though, and one of those is that I can finally start to say no to things that I don't really love to do. And one of those is wine nights. You guys have probably all been to those, right? The evening starts out where the women, they come in, they pick up their glass, they're not quite sure how full to fill it. And I'm always like, to the top? I don't care about the oakiness or the flavor or the aroma. I'm just there to drink. And then by the second or third glass, the women kind of start to loosen up and bebop a little bit. But then by the fourth glass, all bets are off. You know that somebody there is going to take off their shirt and bra and ask you to feel their breast for a lump. No, Cheryl, that's just your kneecap. So I recently had COVID for the first time just a couple weeks ago, and it really took me down, and I knew I had to test, but I was kind of delirious, and so I pulled out the test, and I wasn't quite sure how to use it, but it looked familiar to me, and so I peed on the stick because I thought, well, this must be how I do this. And then I turned it around 3 times, but it came up negative. And so then when my husband came home, I told him what I did, and apparently you're supposed to stick it in your nose and not anywhere else. I happen to be a really big fan of true crime. I love watching Dateline, 48 Hours, 2020, all those different kinds of shows. And I think what a lot of people mistakenly do when they're trying to off somebody is they hire somebody to do that. And my husband and we've been married for 26 years, and 94% of the time, he's just a real treasure. But those other 6% of the time, I think you know what I'm talking about. But if I was gonna off Steve, I would have to do it myself because really hiring somebody seems so impersonal. But I also know from watching Dateline that no matter how smart and how prompt and how clean I felt like I had taken care of everything, I would probably leave something behind. And I love Keith Morrison, but I don't really want to watch my episodes starting with him walking down my street in front of my house saying, "Oh, Lisa, she thought she could get away with it, but that pesky, pesky DNA." So I'm a child of the 70s, that golden age when kids could ride their bikes all day without helmets, play outside, and the flavor of bubblegum lasted for longer than 30 seconds. My house was not what I would describe as a happy home. There was a lot of trauma, and my siblings and I were constantly trying to kill each other. And I don't know if anybody here watching remembers lawn darts, but I was 5, my sister was 6, and my mom sent us outside to play. And as my sister was setting up kind of the targets, I decided that I was going to go ahead and change the rules to dodge jarts. Now again, I was 5, and I had really poor hand-eye coordination, but I threw that jart with all my might, and it struck her square in the chest right next to her heart. But don't worry, I think she's still okay. But restraining orders can really last for a very, very long time. And also, growing up, I really wanted to get out of my house. Again, it was just not a very happy home. And so I had two main goals. The first was to get out of my house by any means possible. And the second was to become famous. Like side of milk carton famous. Amber Alert famous. What did Amber ever do to get famous anyway? All she did was get lost. And my family was not all that fond of me either. And so on the regular, my mom would make sure that I looked really cute, had my cutest outfit on, my hair done, and then she'd help me pack my little kitty bag full of essentials, Capri Sun, clean pair of undies, and she'd walk me down to my corner, again for safety, and then she'd leave and head back into the house. But once I was on my corner, I'd kind of work it, and I'd really wait for anybody to stop and pick me up, but preferably somebody who looked like my childhood crush, Kenny Rogers, and then we could ride off into the sunset singing beautiful duets together. But that never happened, which is probably a good thing, and why I'm still here today. So my husband and I, again, we've been married for a really long time. Our daughter is out of the house. And so we have a little bit more disposable income. And one thing that we really love to do is to travel. And so this past fall, we headed down to Cancun, Mexico for a couple days, stayed at an all-inclusive resort. And you guys, I'm all for loving your body as it is. I really wish I did. But what is going on with women's bikinis? I've never had a bikini wax, but there's something to be said for some personal grooming. I really don't need to see the shrimp from the lunch buffet stuck in your bikini line when you're walking around the pool. I also really love to try new foods on vacation. First of all, because I haven't made it, and second of all, because it's included, so why not? So I picked up this octopus salad. Here's a hint, don't ever pick it up. Like, if you ever see it, just skip it. It was dead, so why were the tentacles stuck to the inside of my mouth? It reminded me of kissing my first boyfriend, Doug Cooper. And second of all, if I had wanted something to squirt in my mouth, I would have gone to Mar-a-Lago. So that's my time. I hope I made you laugh. And yeah, thanks for having me. I really enjoyed myself.